Dearest gentle viewers, welcome back to our channel. Grab your tea and brace yourselves because Bridgerton Season 4 is finally stepping onto the dance floor, and it's bringing romance, secrets, and a fairy tale twist that might just upend the entire ton. Today, we're breaking down the brand new release dates, what's in that first look teaser, who's back, who's new, the plot, the masquerade ball everyone's buzzing about, and the big creative choices shaping Benedict's long-awaited love story. Before we dive in, if you love Bridgerton breakdowns, theories, and cast deep dives, make sure you hit like, tap subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our updates. Let's waltz into it. Let's start with the headline you came for, the release date. Season 4 is split into 2 parts and arrives in early 2026. Part 1 premieres on January 29, 2026. Part 2 lands on February 26, 2026. That gives us a few delicious weeks to dissect every lingering glance, every whispered rumor, and every clue Lady Whistledown drops before the second half completes the story. Just like previous seasons, we're getting 8 episodes total. So plan your rewatch now and pace yourself, because this is going to be a ride. Now, who's at the center of Season 4? At long last, it's Benedict Bridgerton's turn. If you've watched him drift through seasons 1 to 3, half artist, half rogue, always choosing freedom over settling down, you know the tension's been building. Season 4 officially puts Benedict, Luke Thompson, in the spotlight and pairs him with Sophie Baek, Yerin Ha, in a story that's both a nod to Cinderella and a grounded exploration of class, identity, and desire. The official setup? Benedict meets the mysterious lady in silver at Violet Bridgerton's masquerade ball. He's absolutely transfixed. But he doesn't realize she's actually Sophie, a resourceful maid working for the formidable Lady Araminta Gunn. The teaser footage captures that fateful spark. Benedict locked in on a masked woman who seems to glow under the chandelier, while the rest of the ballroom just fades. It's that slow burn, can't look away moment that screams season romance lead incoming. The twist, of course, is that Benedict is torn between the fantasy of the masked enchantress and the reality of the woman he's falling for, without knowing they're one and the same. The question Season 4 keeps dangling is brutal and brilliant. Can he reconcile the dream with the truth, and can love survive the masks we wear? Luke Thompson has been very open about the tone this year. In his words, "The scripts that Jess Brownell and her team have come up with are dynamite. They're really, really, really exciting. The storyline is a bit of a twist on Cinderella. You remember being told those stories as a child, the magic and the romance of them. It's really exciting to have that weaved into the world that we know of Bridgerton. It's such a great story, but it's also, I hope, really relatable. The show isn't just doing a fairy tale, it's pulling the lens back on the reality of the households we glamorize, how they run, who keeps them running, and what it costs to survive in that hierarchy." Luke also sums up Season 4's heartbeat with a gut-punch truth. What's striking about Season 4 is that it's the struggle between a proper old-school fairy tale, the romance of it, and the actual reality of the world. You have to hold both of them, the romance and the reality, in your hand. In its best version, true love happens in the middle of that. Expect romance and gowns, yes, but also hard choices, unbalanced power, and characters wrestling with who they can be versus who the world says they are. On the other side of the pairing, Yerin Ha has talked a lot about why Sophie grabbed her right away. "What drew me to Sophie was that she immediately has obstacles, something that she constantly has to overcome, whether it's this battle around social status or trying to hide her feelings from Benedict." She also spoke about the significance of changing Sophie's last name from the books to Baek for the series. A name is the first bit of identity that you share with the world, and that's why changing a name can be so powerful. To make Sophie's name fit someone who looks like me is really empowering. All credit to Jess Brownell, our showrunner. That choice signals something bigger than a meet cute. Season 4 is intentionally expanding who gets to exist loudly in the Bridgerton universe, and that's exciting. All right, first look and teaser highlights. We've got the masquerade ball. We've got Benedict stopping dead at the sight of Sophie. We also know Eloise is reluctantly in on the search. Sibling chaos guaranteed. And beyond the ballrooms, the show teased Benedict's countryside hideaway, affectionately known as My Cottage, a more intimate space that may become emotional ground zero once masks start dropping and secrets won't stay buried. New cast. Let's talk new characters rocking the social season. Enter Lady Araminta Gunn, Katie Leung, twice married, twice widowed, razor-sharp, and fiercely protective of her status. She has 2 daughters, both debuting this season. Rosamund Lee, Michelle Mao, who's polished, strategic, and laser-focused on securing a desirable match. Yes, she sets her sights on Benedict. And Posey Lee, Isabella Way, warm-hearted and chatty, often underestimated and sidelined by her mother. Showrunner Jess Brownell describes them perfectly. While Rosamund has become her mother's mini-me, a marriage-mart pro chess player, Posey is dreamy and often unserious, much to her mother's disapproval. Araminta and Rosamund are so focused on their own goals that, frankly, the Bridgertons don't register much for them at first, beyond the fact that Benedict proves to be quite the catch this season. Now for the returning favorites, because the Bridgerton family tree remains strong. We've got Jonathan Bailey back as Anthony Bridgerton and Simone Ashley returning as Kate Bridgerton. Nicola Coughlan and Luke Newton will be around as our newlywed darlings Penelope and Colin, with the social stakes of Lady Whistledown in play. Claudia Jessie returns as Eloise, Adjoa Ando as Lady Danbury, Golda Rochouval as Queen Charlotte, Ruth Gemmell as Violet Bridgerton, Hannah Dodd as Francesca Sterling, Masali Beduza as Michaela Sterling, and Hugh Sachs as Brimsley, alongside the wider ensemble including Victor Ali, Martin Zimhangba, Emma Naomi, Polly Walker, Will Tilston, and Florence Hunt. Julie Andrews remains the voice of Lady Whistledown, of course, so cue the quips and the quills. If you're mapping out the timeline, production kicked off in September 2024 and wrapped in June 2025. That tracks with what showrunner Jess Brownell has explained about the series' cadence. It takes about 2 years per season when you factor in filming, editing, dubbing across languages, and the writing process. The team's trying to speed things up, but the scale and polish Bridgerton delivers are why it devours calendars the way it does. Let's ground this in the book roots. Season 4 draws from Julia Quinn's 3rd Bridgerton novel, An Offer from a Gentleman. But the show is doing what it does best, honoring the heart of the story while remixing characters and context for television. You'll recognize the Cinderella DNA, masked mystery, glass slipper energy, a love that feels faded. But the adaptation layers in identity, status, and self-knowledge in ways that feel distinctly Bridgerton. And if you've followed Benedict's arc through Season 3, you know he's coming into this as a man who's been exploring who he is, not rushing toward a ring. That contrast, freedom versus commitment, sets up a cracking emotional conflict once Sophie steps into the picture. Let's zoom in on Benedict and Sophie's chemistry behind the scenes. Yaren Ha called their prep playful, freeing, therapeutic. She recalls first meeting Luke Thompson at a dinner at showrunner Brownell's home, saying, "I remember Luke stood there with arms wide open, just ready for an embrace. That instant comfort can pay off big when you're building a romance that has to feel both enchanted and lived in." Yaren also talks about special and very vulnerable rehearsals, while Luke notes dance training as part of the character's journey. Expect choreography that isn't just spectacle, but storytelling. And in classic Luke fashion, he cheekily teases a seasonal tradition he hopes to keep alive. I've said it before, but I do love a wild swim. Stick me in a lake if you can consider us prepared for a suddenly viral lake scene. Beyond our leads, a few relationship updates to track. Penelope and Eloise seem to have found their way back to each other after a rocky patch, and the show has teased that they're more bonded than ever. Violet Bridgerton and Marcus Anderson may be stepping forward with Lady Danbury's tacit blessing. Anthony and Kate remain couple goals, and Francesca's path, with the introduction of Michaela Sterling, is clearly being seeded for future seasons. Shonda Rhimes has been clear about the long game. Every Bridgerton sibling gets their love story. In her words, everybody's going to have a main arc every season. Eventually, every last one of those Bridgertons is going to have a love story. And yes, Netflix has already renewed the franchise through seasons 5 and 6, so the dance cards aren't running out anytime soon. Thanks for watching. Drop a comment with your favorite Bridgerton couple and season. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a Bridgerton update.